Welcome to another episode of Almond Delights Reading Corner. We back again for another read, y'all. Now you know TOPAZ done found a new life. So we here to see what he gonna do this time. This week, we'll start off reading Losing TOPAZ by our author, James Colwell. Chill out, sit back, relax. Let's see what we gonna be losing with TOPAZ. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We over here reading, y'all. Come on, sit down. Let's get into this book. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we're going to be back here every Monday for this good old read. Alright. Are you ready? Shh. Let's read. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Almond Delights Reading Corner. I am your girl, Miss Almond Brown. We are back again for another read of Losing TOPAZ by yours truly, Mr. James Colwell. Baby, we'll be back in it. I hope you guys have had a wonderful Monday. I hope y'all relaxed and everything. I know you may have gone through a long work day or some craziness happening here on YouTube, but y'all over here at the corner, so we gonna get into it. But before we get all the way into it, this video is being sponsored by the KIISO collection. So take a minute and watch. Hey guys, I got a question. Would you guys like to find something to help jazz up the watch that you already have without having to go out and purchase a new one? Well, come on over. I have a solution just for you. The KIISO collection. The KIISO collection is a watch band company that'll help you to dress up or dress down the watch that you already have just by changing the band. So come on over to Amazon.com/KIISO, that's KIISO, and allow us to give you what you need. Shop Amazon.com/KIISO. That's KIISO. Life is good with options. Let's get back to the show. Won't you guys check out the description box below, and all of the links and everything will be down there. And this, I am rocking their rose gold watch band that they sent. So, and I told you guys I will come back with a review, and I've had this on for a week and 2 days. And so, yes, it's very comfortable. So you guys, please check the description box below and tell them that your girl Almond Brown sent you to them, to get your little stuff. But so we're going to continue on with our read. I'm going to update you guys on what happened last week. So we know that TOPAZ and Talik, which is his high school classmate, child, they done been they be doing some things, okay? So he met Talik at his job last week, and lo and behold, Talik's baby mama, Talik is 18, his baby mama is 25 years old. So lo and behold, the baby mama is also the friend of TOPAZ's sister. So they all knew each other, but baby, they figured out that TOPAZ and Talik might have been doing a little something. They was doing more than just swimming in the pool at the school, if you feel me. So we're going to continue on with our read. This is chapter 5. We're going to try to get through 2 chapters, but baby, it's been long, okay? So this one is chapter 5, Choices Have to Be Made. Oh, wait a minute. Disclaimer, there will be cussing. There may be some other grown-up stuff going on in this book, but y'all grown, right? Okay. I looked Talik over and he was looking hot in his pullover and jeans and fresh and clean basketball shoes. I was in red denim from head to toe with the fitted red body glove unitard underneath that underneath that had black sides. It kind of resembled the wrestler's uniform, but it had long sleeves. It was an outfit that Mama J and I put together. It took us 3 weekend shopping trips to get it all together. I told Ty he had to take a picture with my phone so my mom could see me and see how hard our work paid off. He laughed and said, "Your new mom must have always wanted a daughter." I said, "Why do you say that?" He said, "Because that is the type of relationship that you have." I said, "I disagree. Mama J is a realist. She had one son and she was satisfied with that. She took me on as is, all flaws in place, all differences uncovered. She accepted me for what I was, a gay boy that needed a parent. And trust me, that is what I'm treated as at home. A little gay boy, a spoiled little gay boy, but a little gay boy nonetheless. I get to be me full out with no apologies. Tight clothes, cut off tops, navel piercing and all. But I still take out the garbage, sweep and mop the kitchen and bathroom floors, and shovel snow occasionally, but not often. I chuckled and continued. My dad is the funny one. He still teaches me how to fight and how to handle myself without pretending that I'm a thick, muscular dude like my brother is. He talks to me about the responsibilities of a man and what is expected of me in these next years that are approaching. I have goals and timelines that are set, and none of them involve living off of my parents. But on the other hand, he is the one that excuses me from all the yard work and most snow removal. See what I mean? Spoil. He always laughs and says, "T, the shovel is bigger than you, little man." I stood there for a minute and laughed and thought about how much I love the Jespers and how they changed my life in such short period of time. I immediately started to feel guilty about even being over at Talik's house. And they thought that I was going to be spending time with Waleed. But I didn't get too down on myself about my little white lie because after the party, I was definitely going over and sleep at Waleed's. So it wasn't totally a lie. Now, the lie is when am I going to tell Waleed that I was hanging with JJ? Oh boy, just the thought of keeping it all straight was tiresome. I asked Ty, "So how is this party going to be? Do I have to pretend I'm really not with you while you have girls hanging all over you like they do when we're in school?" He said, "Absolutely not. This is an adult party, and everybody knows the deal. Most of the guys there are on the DL. So that's the only thing. You can't blab their business." I replied, "I would never do that. That's not cool." He said, "Could you be any more perfect?" I said, "Well," he interrupted, "the only thing that you could do to make me fall more for you is if we got undressed and you let me smash one more time. But if I get back up in there now, we just wouldn't make the party." I said, "Dang, just nasty." He said, "You calling me nasty? I don't think I tore this room up by myself. Trust me, you pussy in work, boo. You was making a nigga weak at some point. Damn. Let's go before I tell them clothes off you." He grabbed my hand and led me to the bedroom door. I grabbed my overnight bag. He said, "What are you doing? You can leave it." I said, "No. Then I have to get out of the car later when I drop you off." I have to get it out of the car when I drop you off. His face dropped like a child that had dropped a scoop of ice cream, and he said, "So you telling me you ain't gonna spend the night with me?" I replied, "I can't. I'm sorry. I told my parents that I would be at my brother's house. They would never okay me to spend the night with you." He said, "I understand, but I'm gonna need you to change your mind. I need to have you with me when I wake up. And the only one that will be here is my brother. I want you with me." I just stopped and looked at him. I felt horrible, but I couldn't do that. There was no way for me to get around that. He said, okay, don't look like that. We will figure it out. Let's go have fun. The party was an eye opening experience. There were a good amount of people that I was familiar with. I had no idea that they messed around. No one was acting shady and everybody seemed to be comfortable. I didn't drink anything, but Talik had a few drinks. He conducted himself well. Everything with him seemed to be lining up way too good. Could he be real? I certainly hope so. He was so attentive while we were at the party. It was such a good feeling to be wanted. I just hoped it was genuine. When he introduced me to some of the folks, he said, "This is my dude." That gave me butterflies in my stomach. And the whole time he conversed with another person, he would hold my hand, which just further assured me that he had me. When the time came to go, he ran and got our coats as I stood by the front door of the place. A few people that were leaving stopped and said, "It was nice meeting you," and things like that. They seemed like such a nice group of people. They really made me feel comfortable. It was nice to be in a place where people weren't waiting to pass judgment constantly. Talik came back with the coats and we were out. On the way to the Jeep, he had his arm around my shoulder. I felt so special. Like I was like it was about no one but him and me. I like this. On the drive back to his house, he kept going on about how cute I was and how lucky he was finally to have me to himself. Mhm. I was flattered by all the attention that Ty was paying me. He continued on with his conversation of how great the party was and how cute I was. We pulled up in the front of his house and he said, "Okay, now here we go. Are you going to come in and stay overnight with me? I promise you it'll be worth it." He was just laughing with a subtle cockiness. Hmm. I said, "I'm telling you, I really wish that I could. There's nothing that I would like more, but I just really can't." He said, "I know, babe. I just got to try." He leaned over and kissed me long and deep. Hmm. I could feel myself weakening. He was so good at contact to my need to be reassured of my worth, and I was floating on cloud nine. We broke out of our embrace, and he just held my head with both hands and just stared at me for a moment. Then he ran his tongue slowly across my bottom lip and followed it with a soft kiss and said, "You taste so good. You got a big boy ready to show up and do some damage." I said, "Who the hell is Big Boy?" He said, "Don't play. You know, you met him earlier face to face." He was now sitting there with a huge dumb grin on his face. I said, "Oh, you are so silly, Stretch. We will get our time together. I promise. But I need to get over to my brother's house before it gets too late." He grabbed my hand while just staring at me. He opened my hand and rubbed my palm on the side of his face, and then kissed me in the palm of my hand and said, "All right, short stuff. I know you gotta go. Are you sure you can't?" I turned my head and looked out the window. He said, "I'm sorry, baby. I understand." He kissed me on my earlobe and then made his way out of the Jeep. He said, "Call me when you get there, okay?" I nodded and started out on my way to Waleed's house. I got to Waleed's fairly quickly. I pulled into the parking lot right next to his truck and said to myself, "Oh boy, here we go." I pulled my phone out and text JJ, "Heads up, I was with you tonight. Thanks, boo." I made my way up to the apartment. It was so quiet and most of the lights were off when I let myself in. I was being really quiet. I couldn't believe Waleed was asleep. It was only a little after 2 a.m. I was kind of glad. I felt guilty enough without having to have sex with him. I just couldn't imagine sleeping with two of them in the same day. I realized this is a mess, but I'll figure it out. As I made my way down the hall, I did hear some noise coming from the bedroom. I immediately felt my stomach drop. I thought, oh my gosh, he is up and watching porn, which he loved doing. So no, I knew I would have to go through with the dreaded act, but what could I do? As I stepped into the doorway, I was in shock. I just stood there for about 10 minutes. All I could do was look on as Waleed's behind went up and down, and Christine was laying there with her legs in the air, moaning and sighing and telling him to dig her deeper. I was appalled. I dropped my bag to the floor. It made a loud thump, which startled them, and they both stopped and sat straight up in the bed. Waleed's eyes were so big with shock, he was absolutely quiet. I'm sure he didn't know what to say. Christine yelled, "Get out, damn it!" I said, "Excuse me?" She replied, "You heard me. Get out." Waleed said, "Well, hold on, Chris." I said, "What the? Don't tell me where to go." I let myself in with my key. You watch it with those orders. I don't accept orders well. Ask Waleed. He'll tell you. Waleed said, "T, just step out for a second. I'll be out in a minute." As he got up out of the bed with his erection still intact, I wanted to cry, but I was way too mad. I said, "No problem. I'll be glad to. It smells like fish and ass in here. Sorry for coming over unannounced." I picked up my bag and headed back down the hall towards the front door. I heard Waleed yelling, "T, where you going?" "Go into the living room. We'll be out to talk to you in a second." As I was walking back to my vehicle, I couldn't believe the arrogance of him. Thinking that I would just sit and talk to him and her. He had to be kidding. I got in the Jeep and pulled off. I had no idea where I was going. I wasn't going home. I just drove around for about 45 minutes crying. I should have known he was lying and that Christine was still in the picture. As I drove, Waleed was blowing up my telephone with texts and calls. I finally answered him. I said, "What is it?" He said, "Why'd you leave?" I said, "Are you serious or are you fronting for your fuck buddy?" He said, "Not serious. Let's talk in the morning. Okay?" I said, "Waleed, I am serious. I will not be talking to you any day too soon. Have a great night. And I want you to thank yourself for this outcome. Fuck you and goodbye." Goodbye. I hung up my phone and pulled my Jeep over to a convenience store that I ended up in front of. I lifted the phone and called Talib. He answered the phone very groggy and said, "What's up? You home, boo?" I said, "No, I'm not. Let me ask you something." He said, "What's up, Stink?" I said, "Is your offer still open?" He said, "What offer?" I said, "Is there still an empty spot in your bed?" He said, "Hell yeah." I said, "Okay, I'm around the corner. Meet me on your porch." He replied, "Word." When I pulled up in front of his house, there he was, all 6'4" of him, standing on the porch in a pair of basketball shorts and a tank top, shivering from the late night air. I parked and joined him on the porch. He took my overnight bag from me and said, "What made you change your mind?" I looked up at him and he instantly could tell that I had been crying. He said, "What the fuck? What happened?" I replied, "My brother." And I started to cry again, which was ridiculous because just the fact of calling Waleed my brother was absurd. And not to mention that I was sad because my so-called brother was cheating on me. Absolutely ridiculous. Ty pulled me into his body and led me into the house. We went straight into his bedroom. I said, "I'm sorry to be such a bother. I appreciate you letting me back over. I'm pissed at my brother, but I just couldn't go home this late at night without there being a scene. I'll deal with all of that tomorrow." He said, "There's nothing to be sorry about. I got you. You are mine. And whatever concerns you concerns me." Whatever hurts you, I want to fix. I smiled and said, that's sweet, but you can't fix this. It will fix itself. Trust me. The first steps have already been made. He gave me a puzzled look. I didn't even entertain it. I began to remove my clothes down to my underwear and t shirt. He just looked on with a gaze of voyeurism. I walked over and joined him in his bed. I pulled right up to him and laid my head on his chest. Within minutes, you can see a little steeple in the comforter that we were laying under. I tried to ignore it. I really didn't feel like having any kind of sexual act. Ignoring it was working for a moment, but when he turned completely on his side and his erection was stabbing me in my leg, it had to be addressed. I looked up at him with a look of, are you serious? He said, I know, T, but the drinks have me really horny. I'm sorry. I said, I understand. He then rolled over onto me and began working on me. It was doing nothing for me. I just couldn't get into it. Before long, I was naked and he was wanting to play insertion games. My mood wasn't there, so it was making it pretty difficult for the both of us. He said, this isn't going down tonight, is it? I said, I doubt it. He said, that's cool. I'll stop because if not, I may end up hurting you. And I need my playground to be undamaged. We cuddled and went to sleep. Well, Talit went to sleep. I was wide awake, replaying the night's events in my head. I finally dozed off for about an hour. I awoke totally refreshed. I slid out of the bed and eased to the bathroom. I washed up and got my teeth brushed. I slid back into the bed with a plan of action. I was really over the Waleed situation. I was tired of the lies and the nonchalant apologies. It needs to stop. I love him, but I don't deserve this type of treatment. And I'm sitting here with an almost complete duplicate that has no boundaries. I decided it was time to move on. So once I was back in the bed, it was time for me to let go of my inhibitions and allow myself to enjoy every inch of Talit that he was willing to give. I started working on him while he was still sleeping. It didn't take long before he was fully awake, all over. I slid toothpaste into my finger and stuck my finger in his mouth. He said, damn, you woke up on some old other shit, didn't you? Within minutes, I was laying down the law and he was speechless. It was just a set of grunts and groans. He eventually said, I got it from here. He took control, and for the next 35 minutes, I was in heaven. It was awesome. My body was screaming out for his. There was no guilt involved and no thoughts of Waleed in my head. Just me surrendering myself to him and him to me. I felt like we were truly on the same page now. He was my man, and that was final. And scene. Y'all don't go nowhere. Y'all already know how we do. Hold on. Welcome to another episode of Almond Delights Reading Corner. We back again for another read, y'all. Now you know TOPAZ done found a new life. So we here to see what he gonna do this time. This week, we'll start off reading Losing TOPAZ by our author, James Colwell. Chill out, sit back, relax. Let's see what we gonna be losing with TOPAZ. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We over here reading, y'all. Come on, sit down. Let's get into this book. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we're going to be back here every Monday for this good old read. Alright. Are you ready? Shh. Let's read. Hey guys, I got a question. Would you guys like to find something to help jazz up the watch that you already have without having to go out and purchase a new one? Well, come on over. I have a solution just for you. The KIISO Collection. The KIISO Collection is a watch band company that'll help you to dress up or dress down the watch that you already have just by changing the band. So come on over to Amazon.com/KIISO, that's KIISO, and allow us to give you what you need. Shop Amazon.com/KIISO. That's KIISO. Life is good with options. Let's get back to the show. Whew. Listen. So I'm kind of glad that Topaz and Wally is kind of like on the outs right now, because that should have been it anyways. But him and Tylee, we'll see where that go, honey. So we'll be moving on to chapter 6. So hopefully we can get through this, because it's long, but y'all bear with me because y'all know y'all love the reading. So if you do, make sure you like the video. Thank you. The cat's out of the bag. For the next couple of days, things were just flowing. It was the same old Waleed story. He sent text messages constantly all day and tried calling in the evenings to no avail. I had nothing to say to him. Though I honestly wasn't carrying a bunch of anger toward him, I was just burning out with this bull crap, and I had moved on. I was falling steadily for Tylee. When he texted me, I smiled. When I hear his voice on the phone, I literally melt. When we were in school, we kind of played it cool. There were stolen moments throughout the day, but for the most part, we kept our relationship between us. Of my friends, only JJ knew, and I swore him to secrecy. I still didn't want to tell Mike yet. I thought it might ruin our friendship. No matter what I say, he really thinks he has a chance with me. It was not a problem. I just felt the need to shelter his feelings. He is such a good friend. I couldn't imagine not being friends with him. When the time is right, I will let him know. On Wednesday, Mama J informed me that we would be having a family dinner on Sunday, and we all needed to be there. She went on to say how she wasn't happy about the fact that we haven't all been spending family time like we should. She continued on saying that she had contacted Uncle Joe, and he said he would definitely be there. That really made me happy. He also said that Waleed's new girlfriend and her son will be there. I replied, "Who? That one that came to my dinner?" Mama J said, "Yes, baby, that's the one. He has been spending a lot of time with her, and I don't know how I feel about her. So this will be a good time to get to know her." I was unbothered with the whole situation. I said, "Mama J, is it possible that I can have a guest for dinner?" She said, "Of course. This is your home, just like everyone else. Who is it, sweet baby? Is it JJ? He is so cute. And that Mike, he's so talented." I replied, "No, ma'am. It's Tylee." She just turned her head and looked at me. Then she said, "Am I actually going to meet this person that you are constantly on the phone with? That is his name, isn't it?" I answered, "Yes, ma'am. He's a good friend." She smiled at me and said, "Good friend? How good of a friend is he?" "Topaz, is Tylee your boyfriend?" I hesitated. Then I said, "Yes, ma'am." She replied, "Why did you hesitate, boy? You know you can tell me anything, don't you? Who is this boy?" I started, "Oh, Mom, he is the best. He plays basketball at my school, and he works a part-time job at a fast food restaurant. He is very responsible. He has a 9-month-old daughter, and he does right by the baby. He is very nice to me. He makes me smile." She said, well, the smile I can vouch for. You've been walking around here grinning. Now I know why. But what about this baby? That's a lot of drama to step into at your age, T. You need to know that. And is he openly gay? And how does the mother of the child feel about it? And does she know about you? I then sat down and told her to have a seat. And I began to explain the whole situation about Ty and Natty and that little situation at his job. It was apparent immediately that Mama J was not happy with the goings on. I assured her that it had to do nothing with Ty and it could not be avoided. She just said, okay. But she was really not happy with the physicality between Natty, Angie, and me. She said they were too old and had no business laying their hands on me. I assured her that I was okay and Talik had taken good care of me during the situation. It was settled. Sunday was going to be very interesting. I thought for a second about how Waleed would feel and Ty being here, and then learning that we were a couple. But that thought faded immediately when I realized he was bringing an old girl who I had caught him sexing. I was more than sure that there wouldn't be a scene. There was way too much at stake, so I wasn't worried. Later that evening, I was off the phone with Ty fairly early. He was really worn out from basketball practice, so he retired early. Waleed called about 12:30 a.m. I just looked at the phone and then I decided to answer. I picked it up very nonchalantly and said, hello, bro. What's up with you? The line was so quiet, I thought he had hung up. I said, Waleed, are you there? What's going on? He said, don't play T. Why you acting like that? I replied, acting like what? What do you mean? He said, oh, okay, here we go. I'm really sorry, T. I don't know what I was doing. It just happened. I never meant for you to. I interrupted him. You never intended for me to catch you? Isn't that what you mean? You've been having sex with her from the beginning, but you never planned to get caught. But that's what liars do, isn't it? They build a story and draw other folks in and bend and twist them until they get tired of them, and then they just dispose of them. But if you get caught before the disposal time surfaces, then you flood the person with more lies and bullshit and try to win them over so that you can ease them back into the plot. Right? Just so you know, I'm not getting back into your plot. So let's save ourselves some time and just let it go and move on. He replied with a little anger wrapped in confusion. What do you mean, save ourselves time? I replied, I don't want to be bothered with any of this anymore. You have your little girlfriend. Tell her I'm sorry for yelling at her. She wins. I'm getting out of you guys' way. I'm tired of holding your secrets and being beat up by your indiscretions. He replied, see, that's what I'm talking about. You need to chill. You're doing too much. That was just what it was. It was sex. It didn't mean anything. I'm in love with you and only you. And you know it. Child. I promise I won't do it again. I will not put my hands on her ever again. I started laughing. Your hands weren't the problem. You lied and you got caught. You were busted. And you were still trying to play it down. That's a joke. You were so into what you were doing that you didn't even notice me standing there. Then you had to pull out of the spot to even get a good look at how busted you were. So, how do you think you can explain your way out of there? There is no explanation. And you'll do it again because you're a liar, a vicious liar. And I'm done with you. He chuckled and said, I told you before, you ain't done till I say you done. I cut him off. Yeah, yeah. We all heard the story. How you turn me out and how you gonna always have control over me. Well, that statement is as stupid as you are. You didn't turn me out. You molested me, is what you did. And that doesn't create a bunch of control on someone as old as me. I wanted you to. And so I wasn't being tricked. I knew what I was doing. It got a little intense, and that's okay. But it's over now. In a lash of anger, Waleed yelled, "You know what? Your mouth is really going to get you fucked up." I said, "Oh, so now you going to beat me? And why is that? Because you can't stand the truth? That's sad. You should stand up and claim your truth." He said, "And so should you. You're jealous of Chris. You know you are sharing a dick with her and you don't like it. You're jealous. You know you love this dick. You want me to come over there right now so you can suck it?" I replied, "You're so classy. I just can't stand it. The fact that you always claim you love me and then claim to be in love with me. I never disrespected you by demeaning any sexual act that we have ever shared. But you'll do that in a heartbeat. You think you are cheaper than me, but you're not. Whatever I've done to you, for you, or with you, I have no regrets. I hope you can say the same as we part ways, my dear brother." He blew up. "Fuck you, T. You smart mouth bitch. We ain't parting ways, so you can drop that shit. You hear me?" I was getting upset at the disrespect, so I attacked back. "You know what, you prick? You named me the goddamn name, and now you can't seem to remember it. It was Topaz, not bitch. And you will not keep disrespecting me and calling me out of my name." He shot back. "I upgraded you, hoe, from a sniffling, horny little brat to a spoiled, good for fucking bitch." I was done with this. In a calm voice, I said, "You know what, Waleed? I don't want to fight with you like this. It is not necessary. I just need you to do one thing for me." His demeanor dropped into a more calm state and he said, "All right, babe. You know you can just make me so crazy sometimes. What do you need?" I replied very firmly, "I need you to French kiss the crack of my ass and then go straight to hell. Good night." I am weak. And with that, I hung up the phone in his ear. He tried calling back several times. I just let it go to voicemail. He finally texted me a message that said, "I'm going to smack the shit out of you." I was so unbothered by his threat, I set my phone on the dresser and went to bed. The next day in school, I gave my invitation to dinner to Talik, to which he graciously accepted. We also made plans for Friday evening. I really wanted him to meet Mama and Papa J before Sunday. He was cool with that. He left school with me on Friday and we headed directly over to my house. We got there and I explained that I wasn't sure exactly how the reaction would be because this was all so new. But we had about 2.5 hours before my parents would be home from work. Talik and I were sitting down in the game room watching television, just enjoying each other's company, when he started to lift my shirt and kiss me on my stomach. He knew it tickled and drove me mad. I told him to cut it out. He said, "Why? We got 2 hours, you said." "I'm good. I can get it in and out and no one will ever know." He started laughing. I said, "What makes you think that I would let you sex me the very first time that you step foot in my house?" In his normal silly fashion, he stood up and dropped his pants to reveal a fully loaded tool. As he said, "I'm all ready to go." I said, "So you are." I couldn't help myself. Something about him just seemed to drive me mad. He laid right in the middle of the floor, pulled his pants and shoes the rest of the way off, and grabbed a condom from his back pocket and set the pants to the side. He dressed himself and said, "Saddle up, shorty. It's time to ride the pole." I replied, "You are so cocky and nasty." I took my position and we meshed together like the nuts and bolts that hold most of major appliances together. It was the best 40 minutes of my day so far, and I could tell he was enjoying himself as well. He kept babbling something about warm, tight, and love. It was all mixed up with grunts, groans, and panting. We used the powder room to freshen up and then took our seats and cuddled up until my parents got home. Mama J got home first. We went up to the first floor and met her in the kitchen. She gave Ty one good look over and said, "Okay, I can understand why my son is spending time with you, young man. You are mighty handsome." He said, "Thanks so much, ma'am. I think the same way about T. He makes me smile. And you have a lovely home here. Thank you for allowing me the pleasure of meeting you and sharing a meal with you this Sunday. I can't wait." She smiled. I could tell she was pleased. She replied, "You are most welcome, darling." At that moment, we could hear Papa J coming in the door. He made his way back to the kitchen where we were. I introduced him. Talik greeted him with a handshake. Papa J's demeanor was a little different than Mama J's. It was more stern and guarded. He said, "Let's all go into the living room and have a seat. We have some things to discuss." With no hesitation, we all went to the living room and took seats. Papa J sat in the chair as he always did. Mama J sat on the arm of the chair, and Ty and I sat on the couch. Papa J wasted no time. "Let's go straight into this. My wife was informing me about a little altercation that took place involving your child's mother. And though you did right by my son, this kind of thing worries me. You seem to be a very nice young guy, and my son likes you. But his safety is never to be compromised. He has been through a lot, and he doesn't need to be put through any extra bull. So, what is up with you and the mother of your child?" Ty answered, "We really don't speak much, sir, other than about things that have to do with the baby. The whole relationship was a mistake. But I do love my daughter, and I will always take care of her. I really try to ignore Natty. She just likes to make problems for me when she can't get my full attention. I just try to stay clear of her attacks. It's not worth all the headache." Papa J said, "You are right. Well, I'm not sure how I feel about all of this. Another thing is, are you openly gay, or what do you consider yourself?" Talik said, "I guess I could be classified as bisexual." Papa J said, "So you are open when you're at school? Or is this thing with my boy being handled like some dirty little secret? Because I'm telling you now, I won't have it. I'm not saying that you have to run around broadcasting, but I don't want him being thrown to the side while you pretend to be on the other side of the fence." Talik replied, "No, sir. I wouldn't dare put him or myself through that. We agreed together that when we are in school, we play it low, so as not to draw unwanted attention to ourselves, but neither of us entertain anyone else." Papa J had a serious look on his face and he said, "Topaz, how do you feel about that?" I said, "It's fine with me, Papa J. It just keeps the confusion down. And when we graduate, we can move on without all of that. But for now, I think it's best." Papa J said, "Okay. It seems you two have really thought this thing out. But young sir, I want to tell you, I'm very protective of my boy. And I don't want any harm to come his way. So I don't have to inflict any harm on anyone else." Talik said, "Yes, sir. I agree 100%. And I will guard him and his feelings with everything that I have. I'm serious about him, sir." Papa J nodded in agreement of Talik and said, "Okay, son. I'm going to hold you to your word." He got up and gave Ty a firm handshake and said, "Thanks for coming over to meet with us, son. We appreciate it." Mama J walked over and gave Ty a hug and said, "Welcome to our family. We're going to have you, cutie. You must bring the baby by so we can meet her. I bet she's adorable." Talik went into his wallet and pulled out 3 different pictures of his daughter to show Mama J. He had the largest of grins on his face while talking about the baby. He went on, her name is Tyler, and she is the best. She hardly ever cries, and she already sleeps through the night. After about 20 minutes of baby talk, I said, okay, come on, Ty. You're supposed to be taking me to the movies, and you and Mama J will make us miss our movie. Mama J said, oh, yes. I guess I don't have to tell you how spoiled my baby is. Huh, Ty? Talik just started laughing and gave Mama J a hug. Then turned around and grabbed my hand and led me toward the door while he said, it's been my pleasure. I will see you on Sunday and thanks again. As we entered the movie theater, I thought I saw Mike with some guy that wasn't familiar to me, but it was kind of dark, so I really wasn't sure. We sat far into the back rows. I tried to pay attention to the movie, but between Ty rubbing my thighs and kissing my neck, it was difficult. I whispered to him, you are so sexual. You making me miss the whole movie. He said, it's you. I just can't help myself. When I'm around you, I just want to hug you and squeeze you. You turn me on. But if it's bothering you, I will try working on it. I said, you are not bothering me. I love the attention, but you are very sexual. I leaned over and kissed him on his neck. By the time the movie was over, we were leaving our seats. Ty was walking holding his jacket in front of him. I said, put your jacket on. It's a little cold outside right now. He replied, I can't. And I said, why not? To which he answered, why do you think? It ain't going down. I laughed as we made our way to the parking lot. As we were entering my Jeep, up walks Mike and the person I saw him with in the theater. I said, hey, Mikey. I thought I had seen you, but I wasn't totally sure. It was kind of dark. He said, same here. Let me introduce you to my friend. His name is Jeremy. The cute, smooth, brown skinned boy approached us. He was a few inches taller than me and maybe 20 pounds heavier, with his hair braided very neatly to the back. He stuck out his hand to greet mine. I shook his hand and said, nice to meet you, Jeremy. He replied, damn, as fine as you are, you can just call me Jay. Shit, you are a looker. What's your name, boo? I bet it's something nice and exotic like you. I think the body language of Jeremy alerted Tali, and within seconds, he had gotten out of the Jeep and was standing by my side. I said, wow, thanks for the compliment. And my name is, at that moment, Mike interrupted me and said, Topaz. His name is Topaz. The tension was building, so I jumped in and said, this is Ty. I turned to Talik and said, you already know Mike, and this is Mike's friend Jeremy. Mike said, what's up, Talik? What y'all up to? Ty replied, my boo wanted to see this little flick, so I brought him on over here to check it out, and now we're getting ready to spend some QT. I think the statement was really to diffuse the thought that I'm available to the very flirty Jeremy. Jeremy said, what is QT, my dude? Tali said, oh, wow. That's quality time, dude. I have to get that time in with my baby so he don't have to look nowhere else for it. I got him covered. You did? Ty smiled a very smug smile at Jeremy. Jeremy replied, I got you. You doing the right thing, playboy. Because the piece you working with, somebody will snatch him up in a heartbeat. Mike had a very deflated look on his face. I couldn't figure out if it was from the admittance of me and Ty dating or the blatant open flirting from his so-called date. Either way, I felt it was time to end this. So I said, it was nice meeting you, Jeremy. Mike, give me a call later. Jeremy just didn't know when to stop. He said, it was nice meeting you too, sexy. Mm, mm, mm. And it was good meeting you too, playboy. Talik abruptly said, the name was Ty, my dude. Later. Ty grabbed my hand as he led me to the driver's seat and put me in the Jeep. He said, keep your head up, Mike. It was good seeing you, man. He got in on the passenger side and we were out. Ty was very quiet for about half of the ride. Then he blurted out, you knew I wanted to knock that little nigga out. I don't play that old disrespectful shit from no niggas. And I felt bad for Mike. He acted like Mike wasn't there. That nigga need his head split to the white meat one good time. I said, I know you are not worried about that fool. He said, I'm not worried about anyone, least of all that clown. But I just don't like when people cross the line. I looked over at the seriousness of his face. He really wasn't having it. I tried to lighten his mood. I said, you know your eyebrows are almost touching. Are you that upset that you want to end up with a unibrow? He cracked a small smile. I continued, tell me what would make you feel better. What would calm you down? Do you want me to fill you up? He bust out laughing and said, you always know I want you to fill me up. It could be the end of the world, and you get to playing with big boy in the world, but have to wait. He was sitting there with a big Kool-Aid grin. I said, let me ask you, where did that big boy mess come from? How do you just decide that you will start referring to your penis as big boy? He said, what? Are you saying it isn't big? I said, slow your roll, Stretch, and just answer the question. He smiled and said, it is simple when you got 11 inches. You can call it anything you want. You don't have to call it big boy. You can call it something else if you want. I said, oh gosh, you are a mess. I don't want to name your stuff. He said, oh baby, come on. Entertain me. Give him a name. He took my hand and placed it on his steadily growing piece and he said, see, he likes you. Now talk to him. Give him a name and tell him a little about yourself. I smiled, caught up in Ty's foolishness, and said, the only thing I want to call it is mine. Okay. He said, I like that. I like that. He leaned over and kissed me on my earlobe. That always sends shivers down my spine. And he knew it. Before long, we were at his house. He said, here we go again. Now, you got to come in and meet my people. I said, okay, I'm nervous. He said, don't be. They cool. We walked into the house and into the living room where the cutest little woman was sitting. She looked just like Ty, but she was about 5 foot 1 inch tall with straight shoulder length black hair with a side part. She had a petite waist and a big pretty smile like Ty. She stood up and said, is this him, Ty? Ty nodded yes. She continued, oh, honey, you're so adorable. Let me look at you. I walked over and said, it's nice to finally meet you, Mrs. Rudolphson. She said, same here, sweetheart. That's all I've heard around here is TOPAZ this and TOPAZ that. I was thinking with a name like that, this boy better be sharp. And let me tell you, you wear it well. I said, thanks. I appreciate it. She stood up and walked over to the staircase and yelled, Gregory, come down, babe. I heard the footsteps overheard. I could feel my stomach drop. What had I got myself into? As a 6'5" figure entered the room, I was taken aback. Talik's dad was absolutely fine. Woo! He favored Ty, but he was dark skinned, bald, vision of perfection. I mean, his looks were really stunning. He said, hey son, what's up? His voice was so deep, it seemed to engulf the room. He walked over to me and said, hi, how you doing there, shawty? I got up and shook his hand. I was shaking like a leaf. Mr. Rudolphson started laughing. He said, don't worry, I ain't gonna do nothing to you. Everything cool. I smiled and said, "It's nice to meet you, Mr. Rudolphson." He nodded his head and said, "Same here, little guy. Have a seat. Let's talk about some things." We all took our seats. Mr. Rudolphson sat in the love seat and Mrs. Rudolphson sat on his lap. Ty and I sat on the couch. Talik seemed a little bit nervous, but my boo was had so much swagger that he was doing a really good job covering it up. It's just one more thing that made him as sexy as ever to me. Mr. Rudolphson started in asking me questions. "So, are you a senior at Solis, Topaz?" I said, "Yes, sir, I am." He said, "Do you have plans for college?" I said, "I sure do. I'm going to be attending Jackson College." His eyes opened wider as he replied, "Did you two plan that? You know Ty has been accepted with a basketball scholarship at Jackson too." I said, "I know, but we did not plan it. I promise." I started to laugh a little. Ty said, "Cut it out, Dad. We would never make that kind of decision just to be together." Mrs. Rudolphson said, "Why not?" He did. He followed me all the way to Georgia. Mr. Rudolphson started to laugh in a deep chuckle and said, "Wasn't no way she was going down south without me. That was my woman. I wasn't going for it." The mood was very light, and I was very at ease with Talik's family. Mr. Rudolphson said, "Let's cover this little thing though. I want to be clear. I do not understand my son's recent choices. I had never had those kind of thoughts about another man. I don't know what to make of it, but I do know that I love my son. And if you are what makes him happy, then so be it. I won't judge my boy. I just want you to be respectful. You two to be respectful of us and each other. Okay?" He continued on. "And most of all, be careful and safe." As he said this, I hear another voice in the door opening. All at once, I can see the head of a fine little chocolate piece of man. He was visibly shorter than Ty and his dad, but just as good looking. The room got quiet as he entered. He said, "Did I hear someone say be safe? Dad, are you giving the common talk again? Damn, I missed it. And you know Ty ain't listening." He chuckled as he flopped into the couch next to Ty. Mrs. Rudolphson said, "Excuse me, baby. This is Ty's older brother, Sharif, the resident fool." She started to laugh and went on, "Don't pay him any attention. Lord knows we don't." Sharif gave me a good looking over. I felt just a bit uncomfortable. Then he stood up and said, "Damn, Ty, he kind of looked like a girl, but he a nigga. That's crazy, dude." Mr. Rudolphson chimed in, "Reef, I was thinking the same thing. It is wild, isn't it?" Sharif replied, "And I don't know if Ty can tell the difference, Dad. When y'all were out of town, I heard some noises one morning. And I put my ear to the door, and I don't know how careful Ty was being, but he was banging the hell out of that piece with the old school type of vibe. It was loud as shit. And I ain't gonna lie, it was making me horny." Sharif and his dad started laughing as Miss Rudolphson stood up and said, "Hey, mother on board, you ignorant bastards." I'm sorry, Topaz. They are so rude sometimes. It was nice meeting you, love. I'm out of here so y'all can talk that talk. Mr. Rudolphson smacked her on the bottom ever so playfully as she proceeded out of the room. I just sat there more embarrassed than you could ever imagine as Sharif continued on. "I thought he was banging a female until later on he told me it was you, little dude. I don't know about much. I don't know much about y'all get down, but I do know how we Rudolphsons are put together." He grabbed a handful of himself and chuckled as he responded. "And females have a hard time handling the work we put in. And you was quiet as hell. I didn't hear you say a word. And again, I ain't gonna lie, I was listening for a good minute." Ain't that crazy as hell, Pops? Mr. Rudolphson just sat there cracking up at the situation. I was so uncomfortable at this point. Talik was sitting next to me, and I could tell he wanted to join in the festivities and celebrate his banging sessions with the fellas. But he refrained. He just said, "Shut up, Reef. You embarrassing T." Sharif came and plopped down next to me. He leaned his arm on my shoulder. Right away, you can feel how solid he was, like one big muscle. He said, "You ain't got no reason to be embarrassed, little dude. We cool as hell. This situation is different, but it's y'all situation. Nobody else. I'm 2 years older than Ty. He's my ace before anyone. And I'll take a nigga down if they disrespect him. And Pops is all right now. He wasn't at first, but we family. Ain't nothing too hard for us." He wrapped his arm around me and gave a little squeeze and said, "You did?" Mr. Rudolphson chimed in, "Damn right." I shook my head in agreement. Sharice stood up and said, "So, from what Ty tells me, he enjoys digging you out. So keep up the good work, my dude." He started laughing as he was leaving the room. I was still sitting a little stiff and couldn't really look at Ty's dad directly in the face. He blurted out my name. "Topaz?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Are you having a hard time looking at me now that you know I'm aware that you and my son been boning?" My eyes got really big as I looked into his thoroughly entertained face. He said, "That's ridiculous. What do you think I thought you two were doing all this time? Watching music videos? I'm a grown ass man with grown ass male kids that like fucking. So for me, I think that you've been holding Ty's attention all this time and not boning is just absurd. Man, don't worry about me. I'm not standing anywhere to judge. I'm simply here to guide my kids and support their decisions, as long as they ain't hurt nobody. You're cool, and you too, and you took us picking on you real good. I'm impressed. You can come over and hang out anytime. I gotta go find my queen and see what she's doing. I'll see you later, little dude." I said, "Sure thing, Mr. Rudolphson, and thanks." Talik was sitting there looking simple. I punched him in the leg. He said, "What, babe?" I said, "You are so jive. You knew they were going to tear me up." He said, "No, I really didn't. But Sharif is so funny, isn't he?" I said, "How embarrassing. Not knowing that he knew about me sexing you in your room and you confirming everything. Why you didn't tell me?" Ty laughed and said, "Because you would never come over again." I said, "You are probably right. I could have just died. And your mom must think I'm a slut." Just then, both of Ty's parents walked back into the room, and Mrs. Rawson said, "Thanks for coming over, T. You have to come see me again soon. I hear you love to shop. We're going to bed. And for the record, I don't think you're a slut. Have you looked at my son lately? Child, those looks will get you every time. His dad kind of got me with that same move years ago. My flesh was weak, I tell you." She started laughing as she led her husband out of the room and up the staircase. Ty said, "They are ridiculous." I said, "No, they're not, boy. That's cute." I looked at the time and said, "Wow, the time sure did fly by. I'm going to get ready to roll stretch." He replied, "All right, love, but can you do me a favor?" I said, "What's that?" He said, "Can you at least fill me up before you go?" He was standing there grinning and seriously waiting on the answer. I said, "You are ridiculous. Walk me out, fool." As we walked to the door, he, in his normal fashion, felt me up. I got so tickled with him as he caressed my behind and my stomach. And once I got to the door and stood still, he made it his business to press up against me. I could feel all of his frustration on my back. I laughed as I turned around and said, "Cut it out. I'm going home, nasty." I kissed him on his cheek. He grabbed a hold of my full face and kissed me long and deep. Then he whispered in my ear, "I'm going to let you slide." but I'm going to think about you while I'm playing with it. I pulled back and said, yeah, yeah, what's new? He laughed and said, nothing. It seems as though the rest of the week just flew by and the Sunday dinner was fast approaching. The closer we got, the more nervous I became. I had no idea how Waleed was going to handle me dating Talik, and I really didn't care because he did bring it all on himself. I was awake, pondering over what was going to occur, and it was around 5 a.m. I thought about calling Talik to talk to me on the phone, but I figured he probably wouldn't answer, and if he did, it wouldn't be much of a conversation anyway. I got up and started back into the book that I had been reading that occupied me for a while. And then around 6:30 a.m., I heard Mama J stirring. I gave her a moment, and as soon as she declined the stairs, I followed her. She heard me as I reached the kitchen behind her. She turned and said, "Good morning, sweet baby. What are you doing up?" I couldn't sleep, Mama J, so I figured I could have a lesson and help you out. She hugged me and smiled. Then she said, "Oh, that's my baby. Let's get busy. We'll be able to knock this stuff out in record time." We began cooking. I learned so many things that morning, and Mama J was so surprised with the things I already knew. It was a lot of fun, and of course, she and I were in our bonding mode. The one thing that caught me off guard was when she asked me if I was a virgin. My mouth just dropped open. She looked me dead in my face and said, "Close your mouth, baby." I'll take that look as an admittance of sexual activity. I want you safe. Do you understand me? And let me tell you, Waleed had already told me that you were a virgin when we first met, but you are so taken aback with Ty that I had to ask to see what was going on now. He seems to be a very loving and kind person, and also responsible. You make him stay responsible when he's dealing with you. Do not accept anything less than what is proper. Remember, you are a gem, and he needs to know that. I felt like I was going to pass out to be having this conversation with Mama J. She continued, "Now, is he the only one that you shared yourself with?" I was stuck in one spot on the floor. She gave me a look of concern and said, "Topaz, how many? How many has there been? And I want the truth. I am not judging you. I am here to help. Tell me, baby, how many have there been?" I said, "There is only one other. I promise I wasn't being nasty. I wasn't acting cheap. It wasn't my intention. It just happened." I dropped to my knees in tears. I couldn't seem to get myself together. When I was on the floor, all I could hear was Mama J's soothing voice. "No, no, no, my sweet baby. No, 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 my Jim." She repeated it over and over until I started to calm down. At this point, we were both in the middle of the kitchen floor, and my head was in her lap. She said, "Who was the other person, T? And did he hurt you?" I replied, "No, he didn't hurt me physically, but I would rather leave him nameless." She said, "Do you think that is wise? Especially with the response you gave me? That worries me. If you aren't comfortable talking to me about it, you can speak to me, you can speak to Wade, or we can seek a professional." I said, "No, ma'am, it's all good. And I'm happy with Ty, and I can just put all of that behind me. Talik is good for me, totally good for me." Right after that, I heard a deep voice join the conversation. "That's okay, but if you change your mind, you can come to me. I'm interested to know who inflicted that kind of pain on you. I'm about ready to hurt them myself. I can't have you crying the way you were a moment ago up in here. I'll be forced to make someone pay." I looked up and it was none other than Papa J with a seriously irritated look on his face. I said, "I'm sorry for causing all this confusion. It's been a total of two, and I'm sorry. I have no plans on adding to that number anytime soon, and I've always practiced safe sex." The two of them looked really relieved, as was I to be leaving this topic of conversation. I stood up and helped Mama J up off the floor, and she said, "Do you guys mind if I go up to my room?" I want to lay down for a moment. Mama J said, that's fine, baby. You got about an hour and a half. Are you going over to pick up Talik? I said, no, ma'am. He insisted that he take the bus over. He said he didn't see the purpose of me leaving home to come bring him back to my home. I will insist that I take him home afterwards. He is so funny about that kind of stuff. Papa J said, no, he is a man and he recognizes that he isn't supposed to inconvenience you. He is supposed to take care of what he is taking claim to. I like that young guy. I laughed as I made my way to my room. I was really drained with the fact that I really hadn't gotten Waleed fully out of my system. Just the thought of our involvement came down on me like a ton of bricks. How could I have these feelings for him when he had treated me so shabbily? I just didn't know what to make of it. But I knew that I was definitely falling in love with Talik, and I was pretty sure that he felt the same. After being in my room for about an hour, I went ahead and got myself dressed in a very fitted black shirt that had sheer stripes and a pair of black jeans and black shoes. It was a good look, just revealing enough, but not too overly racy. I started down the stairs and I could hear talking coming from the living room. It was Waleed and Papa J. As soon as Waleed seen me, he cut the conversation with Papa J and followed me saying, hey T, what's good with you? I replied, I'm good. How are you? I never stopped moving. I made my way down to the game room. Once I was there, I turned on the television and took a seat. I knew he was right behind me, but I wasn't interested in a conversation with him. He plopped down on the couch next to me and said, you look good, baby. Are you trying to entice me with that talk? It makes me want to kiss you on your stomach. I said, let's not do this. Your days of kissing me have come and gone. So let that mess go. Thanks for the compliment, but that's enough for me. I appreciate it. He grabbed my arm and said, cut the shit, T. You starting to make me mad with all this. You act like you don't know what's up. You know you missed this. I laughed and said, miss what? The cheating or the lying? Which one are you missing participating in? Because I kind of threw my hands up. I couldn't get enough of either. Thanks. You're a circus clown. He replied, bitch, you. I interrupted him again. I'm not having you calling me out of my name. Is your memory so bad that you don't know what you named me? Here's a hint. It's not the same as your girlfriend's name. So please stop calling me by her name. She's the only bitch I know that has an involvement with you. But what do I know? How many girlfriends do you have, stud? He looked at me and said, suck my dick. I'm sick of your mouth. I said, is that an insult or a request? Seems to me that you can get that self-absorbed cunt to suck you off. And if not, that's your issue, not mine. You made your choice and I've made mine. So deal with it. He grabbed me tightly and held me close to him and said, you're not fooling me. I know you get horny. I know you miss the taste of my dick in your jaw. Admit it. You miss the way I beat your ass into submission. Tell me you want this dick, and maybe I give you head, and maybe I give you the head of it right now before time for all the guests to get here. You want to feel this all up in you right quick. Come on, T. Let's make up. Let me beat that ass up real quick. Look, I'm already hard for you. He pulled his shirt up to expose the bulge in his pants. I looked him up and down and replied, ridiculous. I pulled away and sat down and said, you're a ridiculous pervert, and I wish I would have never gotten involved with you. He looked at me with a total look of disbelief and blurted out, bitch! He then left the game room and went upstairs. I was glad. What a turn off that whole episode was. His verbal abuse was getting worse, and it really was starting to get to me. It was making me see him in a whole new light. I sat in the game room and started to watch a movie that was on. I had gotten so tangled into it that I hadn't heard the doorbell or the guest arriving. When I knew anything, I heard footsteps, and then I see Waleed entering the room. He had a smug look on his face. Behind him was Christine, and there was someone else behind her that I couldn't get a clear view of. I figured it was her son. I remember she had a son my age. Oh, yippee. She started in. Hey, T, it's nice to see you again. How are you? I love your shirt. That's real sharp. I said, thanks. How are you? I stood up and approached her and said, will you accept my apologies for our last meeting? I am so sorry for the privacy invasion and my attitude. Sometimes it gets the best of me. She said, hey, that's big of you. Please accept mine too. I had no business at that dinner. I told Boo Bear that. Oh, and I had no right to order you around either. Let's just start over, okay? I said, okay. But when this bitch said Boo Bear out of her mouth, I wanted to slap the taste away from her tongue and slug Waleed in his cheating gut. But I kept it classy. I took my seat back on the couch as Christine moved to the side and said, hey T, this is my son. I'm glad you two are finally going to meet. Into my plain view moved a vision that made me darn near choke in disbelief. There he was in his now less than arrogant stance, with the put on thug act in place. Christine said, this is Jeremy. Come on, baby. Say hi to Topaz. This is Waleed's baby brother. I could tell right away his mom did not know his truth. And I could also tell he was nervous to see if I would out him. But I played along and said, hi, how are you? It's nice to meet you. You could see the instant relief in his face. I thought it was hilarious. How could someone so arrogant be harboring such secrets? What an ass. Christine said, hey T, Waleed and I are going to go upstairs and talk with your parents. How would you feel about you and Jeremy kicking it a little bit and getting to know one another? I said, that's okay if he wants. I'm just watching the movie. He's welcome to watch. My teeth were actually grinding, and Waleed seemed to be loving the awkward momentum of this whole scene. I wanted to call him a bastard and punch him so hard, but I kept it classy and just smiled, just as Mama J would have if put in spot like this. Waleed looked over with a sinister smile and said, yeah, little bro, get to know Lil J. He is real cool. And he can ball too. Maybe one day you could watch us. I know you aren't going to be willing to sweat, are you? I said, ha ha, you're so funny. But actually, I'm sweating right now. As I tilted my head slightly to the side, he caught my hostility right away and grabbed the old girl's hand and led her up the steps. As soon as they were out of sight, Jerry plopped her to the couch next to me and said, you are as cool as you are fine. I appreciate what you did. My moms don't have a clue about my life. She always talking about grandkids and shit. She tripping. I don't want no babies. I said, I'm not the one for outing people. It's really not cool. He sat up and rubbed my leg very aggressively and said, speaking of out, when am I going to be able to get up in you? Shit. I've been thinking about it ever since I seen you at the movies. I said, boy, take your hands off me and get up out of my face with that garbage. What kind of person do you think I am? Just because you find me attractive doesn't automatically entitle you to sleep with me. He said, we ain't got to go to sleep, boo. I just want to put this monster up in you. I know you will like it. I replied, and what about my dude? Is he going to like it too? How are you going to deal with that? Because he don't play that crap. He laughed and said, well, I already see that you know how to keep a secret. So what's one more between you and me? I said, I'm sorry. I'm not interested. And I'm not going to ask you, and I'm going to ask that you not approach me like this anymore. Okay. He said, damn, we're almost like family. I thought we could be kissing cousins. And I was definitely ready to kiss you on the crack of that ass. I rolled my eyes up in my head and said, you are ridiculous. You just don't get it. You are so unauthorized. I just got up off the couch and headed for the stairs. He said, ouch. You hurt me with that fat ass. I'm ready to eat now. I'm hungry, Topaz. Please feed me. I said, is that all you think about? Jeez. He said, no. I want some head too. I said, from who, little boy? I don't even know you like that. He said, you look like you get some bomb ass dome. As a matter of fact, let's stop fucking around. Why don't you give me some brain right now? My shit's already hard just thinking about it. He got up and pulled out his penis and just stood there. And he didn't lie. It was hard as a rock. I said, what is wrong with you? Put that away, you weirdo. He said, not until you hook me up, pussy boy. You know you like sucking dick. So what's the damn problem? Hurry up before somebody comes. I said, I don't know where you're getting all this mess from. Well, that is not me. That is not how I carry myself. He ran over and stretched out on the couch and parted his legs and exposed himself fully. I was getting a little pissed. I said, first of all, where is the rest of it? He looked at me with intensity in his eyes and said, what do you say, Trick? I said, oh, here we go. So you're not all that nice, huh? You fake ass thug wannabe. My name is Topaz. Do you understand? That is a fact number one. Fact number two is that you're not a thug. You're a young, confused fag. And the final fact is your dick is small pimping. I wouldn't waste my time with you for anything in the world. He leaped up with one swift gesture and grabbed me by my throat. He said, I'll smash your pretty face, bitch. You and make you suck my motherfucking dick and then force you to swallow my nut. Okay. I was so in shock I couldn't move. But what happened next really threw me off. In a lightning flash, I saw dreads go by my face, and the next thing I saw was Jeremy flat on his back with Waleed on top of him, choking him pretty badly. Waleed was talking really deep in his face. He said, yo, dog, I'll fucking kill you. You understand? Don't you ever cross that line with that. You understand me, nigga? I grabbed Waleed and said, please let him go, Waleed. There was no harm done. Let him up. I could see the fear in Jeremy's eyes, and I definitely couldn't miss the rage in Waleed's. The funniest thing was, while all of this was going on, his little erect genitalia was still poking out. Waleed yanked him up and told him to straighten himself up. Jeremy was just looking like a rag doll. It's crazy, but I kind of felt sorry for him. He looked at Waleed and said, you ain't have to do all that. For real. That wasn't cool, yo. Waleed replied, I'm only going to say it one more. He is off limits, fag. I was confused about the dynamic of their relationship at this point. Then, as I really got to thinking about it and decided, I don't even want to know. I sat back on the couch and Jeremy sat across the room from me in a chair. He said, sorry, yo. I didn't mean to. I interrupted him. Whatever. Don't worry about it. Just don't let it happen again. Before long, I got a text message from Talik telling me that he was almost there. I was grinning from ear to ear and was so anxious to see him. When I heard the doorbell, I jumped up and darted to the stairs. By the time I reached the top, Waleed was opening the door, and to my surprise, it was my Uncle Joe. He and Waleed were there in the door with the most masculine handshakes and greetings. I thought, oh brother. Then before Waleed could shut the door, my vision in chocolatey covered goodness was standing there requesting entry. Waleed stood there like a statue and said, can I help you? Talik replied, sure. You must be Waleed. I've heard so much about you. My name is Ty, and I'm here to see Topaz. It's nice to finally meet you. Waleed replied, pardon me? You're here to see who? I said, me. Didn't you hear him say Topaz? Move out of the way and let him in, Waleed. Slowly, Waleed moved his massive frame away from the door, and I went straight down the hall and embraced Ty and said, I'm so glad you're here. Come and meet my Uncle Joe. I motioned for Uncle Joe and Ty to come into the living room. I introduced them and Uncle Joe and said, my goodness, I'm going to have to come see you more often. I done gained a whole new nephew since the last time I seen my baby. Uncle Joe embraced Talik and said, welcome to Uncle Joe's world. I am proud to have you as my nephew. You are one tall ass little nigga. Do you ball? Ty said, yes, sir. And the two of them got into a deep conversation as I was being motioned into the hallway by the visibly irritated Waleed. He said, oh, so you think you gonna date this string bean? I'll beat his ass and yours. Don't you ever fucking play me, you slick bitch. I pushed Waleed out of my face and said, guess what, asshole? You made your choice and I made mine. So deal with it. I made my way back into the living room and stood by Ty as he and my uncle spoke. Shortly after that, I heard Mama J calling everyone into the dining room so that we could begin dinner. As soon as we entered the dining room, Mama J lit up with such joy and said, oh my gosh, I've been back here talking with Wade and Christine and missed all my fabulous guests coming in. She ran over and hugged Uncle Joe. She said, Joe, it's been too long. Our baby is just moving along. Don't make me have to get after you. Don't let this many months go by before we all hang out. And you hold us to it, you hear? He smiled back and gave her a peck on the cheek and gave Papa J a handshake and then said, man, I love this family. You done really turned things around for my little love over here. I just smiled. He continued and now he hesitated and then he chuckled as he continued. A boyfriend, a baller. He gave Ty a high five. Papa J chimed in. I know, Joe. Him and Trudy slipped that one in on me too. But it's cool. Ty's a real stand-up dude. Ty, come on over and give me some love. It's good to see you again, son. Waleed joined in. I don't know this dude. I guess I'm gonna have to check him out and see exactly what his intentions are. Ty chuckled and said, I understand, Waleed. T told me how close you all are. Maybe we can hang out sometime and get to know one another. Waleed kind of shrugged his shoulders and said, I don't know if I want to hang out with you, but just know I'll have my eye on you. There was a short awkward pause that followed the off-color comment. But as usual, Ty's swagger took control of the situation and he said, fair enough, I understand. Mama J said, over here, Ty, this is Waleed's girlfriend, Christine. He shook her hand and she said, T, you got a real catch here. He is so handsome. I laughed and said, easy now, Chris. That's mine, exclusively. She laughed as well, clueless to the fact that she had been read and warned. She said, I got it. I thought to myself, if you try anything, you will get it. Right upside your head. Waleed kept rolling his eyes. I thought at one point he was going to lose them. He was so uncomfortable, and to me, it was so obvious. To be honest, it took me a bit. He deserved to get some of what he gives out. Mama J said, hey, we are missing one. Chris, where's your baby? She said, you know what, Mrs. Jasper? I don't know. She called out for him, and he came up the stairs from the game room. As soon as Talik realized who it was, he grabbed my hand under the table and squeezed really tightly. I whispered in his ear, his mom doesn't know his truth, so just play along. I'll explain later. Jeremy took his seat at the table as Christine introduced him to everyone. Seated at the table on one side of me, Ty and Uncle Joe. Across from us was Waleed, Christine, and Jeremy. Then you had Mama J on one end and Papa J on the other. The table was filled with an overabundance of food. There was greens, string beans, candy yams, ham, turkey, stuffing, cranberry sauce, coleslaw, potato salad, baked macaroni and cheese, homemade rolls, and cornbread. Got green bean, potato, tomato, chicken, ham, ham. You name. There was also an array of desserts that lay waiting. Papa J led us in prayer and the eating began. Waleed kept an eye on me the whole time, and whenever we made eye contact, he would always look away in disgust. It is amazing how arrogant he can be at times. The next 3 hours were pretty calm, with just the occasional dirty look being given to me by Jeremy and Waleed. Talik and I put on our jackets and decided to sit on the back porch. I was sitting on his lap on the rocking chair that is out there and bringing him up to date on the Jeremy drama. I purposely left out the hand around the neck and forced sex situation as to diffuse a situation. Ty laughed and said, "So old boy is in the closet with his stupid ass. A little disrespectful punk. And can you believe how small of a world it is? What are the chances that his mom would be dating your brother of all people?" I said, "I know. Isn't it ridiculous?" Eventually, everyone started leaving. It was apparent that everyone was stuffed and was ready to go home and relax before having to start another hectic week. I told Ty, "Let me grab my car keys and I'm going to drive you home." He said, "Okay." I left him on the porch and he ran up to my room to grab the keys. As I turned to leave my room, I was blocked by Waleed standing in my doorway. He pushed his way in and started speaking. "You think this shit you pulled today was cute, don't you? But you really don't know me as well as you think you do. I'm going to make you pay. And trust me, you're going to crack under pressure. I will never allow a little bitch like you to disrespect me. How you going to bring that nigga up in my motherfucking house, you simple bitch? Talk about y'all dating. Bitch, you ain't dating nobody. Has he had some of your ass? Tell me. Did you let him fuck you, you little slut?" I just stood there and I said, "This is ridiculous. And I don't have time for this. Get out of my room, Waleed." He stood still like a stone and said, "Or what?" He grabbed me by my arm very rough and said, "I want some answers. Did you fuck, you whore?" He took two of his fingers and jammed them into my mouth, which totally caught me off guard and said, "Did he stick his fucking dick in here, bitch?" I punched Waleed in the jaw and said, "Don't you fucking dare. You fucking jerk. Don't you ever put your hands on me again, or you're going to pay the price." He said, "And what's that? What you going to do? Tell someone I've been fucking you? Who's going to believe you with your fucked up past? Go ahead, bitch. Tell anything you want. No one will believe you." I stormed out of my room and down the steps holding the tears back. I pulled myself together and went straight to the porch and told Ty to go and say his goodbyes, and I would wait in the Jeep. As I sat there, I just pondered over what Waleed had said, and I thought, he's probably right. Who's going to believe me? The kid with a scattered past and a terrible biological background over him, the upstanding son that has never caused his parents a moment's anguish. I was able to really move beyond the day's drama as I sat alone in my Jeep on the way back home after I dropped off Ty. Waleed was just pissed because he got beat at his own game, and I would just ignore him. He'll get over it. I didn't have another moment to waste on it. My graduation was quickly approaching, and I would not be around to have to deal with Waleed except on holidays. And I was excited. And scene. Woo! Oh my goodness. So that was chapter 6 and 7. Oh geez, or was it 5 and 6? Chapter 5 and 6 of Losing Topaz. Oh my goodness. So that was a lot. But like, what do you guys think of what's going on now as far as everybody just co-mingling together? Everybody loving. Everybody loving. Everybody on top on Topaz. But now you got Jeremy in the picture. Baby, when he told Jeremy you working with You working with a little one? I was like, don't do that to him. Gonna hurt his little ego. But how you gonna try to shove your little thing on somebody and people? You in the house with people that don't even know that you gay yet. Look, I just had to breathe and but I dropped the link if anybody want to come up and discuss the 2 chapters that we just read. Otherwise, I'm gonna give my church announcements real quick. I want to let you guys know, as always, this video is being sponsored by the KIISO collection, honey. It is a watch brand company that you can find on Amazon.com/KIISO, honey, KIISO. And this is one of the watch bands that I am wearing. This is their rose gold. You guys can go on and check it out. It is very affordable. All the links will be down in the description box below. If you got to this part of the broadcast and you have not subscribed to Almond Brown 09, I mean, why? I mean, I'm sure you enjoyed being here. If you guys would like to hear this, if you just getting here and you need the red ball back, you can do that. But if you also want to hear it again or any other reads that I have done, check out my podcast, anchor.fm/Almond Brown 09. I have all of my reads over there, and you can just listen to them podcast style in your car. Share it with your friends, honey. It's free to listen, but if you would like to subscribe, you can do so. Monthly love offering of 99 cents, $4.99, $9.99, whichever one you would love to do. It's appreciated, but not required. Also, if you are an author and you would like your book to be read over here at the Almond Delights Reading Corner, you can email me at almondbrown09@gmail.com. Also, if you would like to send a book, you can send it to my P.O. Box, or if you would like to send any other gift, if you are a business that would like to have, and you would like to have your product sponsored, you can also email me. And then send the products to Almond Brown 09 at P.O. Box 1058, Starke, Florida 32091. But yes, I need y'all to go in. If you have not gotten your book, because we have 2 more chapters of Losing TOPAZ, and then we will go right into Learning TOPAZ. So please check out the description box and you can find the link to James' book. To the next book we will be reading, so you guys can get it. It is on Amazon and it is affordable. The hard copy is about $14.95, and you can also get it on Kindle. And I think it's unlimited, so it's like $0 if you can download it on your Kindle, or if you have the Kindle app on your device, you can do so there. All of my information is being put in the chat right now. I just want to thank everybody for sharing the video. Thank everybody for coming. And as I'm doing my church announcements, please drop your chocolate and your sun emojis in the chat. And for those of you that do not know what the chocolate and the sun emoji represent, it represents the light and love that we possess and we put out over here with the Almond Delights. So if you ever see that, just know that that is what it is about. Thank you very much, Phenomenal. She said, great read. I really enjoyed this read. I was not expecting this. I really wasn't. I was not expecting this, but I'm sure there is more to come. Y'all make sure y'all come back next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and join us for another read. Also come back on Friday for our Friday night red light special. We will reconvene here at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can share the videos out to your friends and your family and let them know what we over here doing, y'all. And like I said, please check the description box below. And if you go and order anything from the KIISO collection, let them know that your girl Almond Brown sent you over there. Let them know, you know, we doing good things over here. So if no one else is going to come up, I appreciate you guys for joining me. And I'm going to show you guys one more time the KIISO collection. Don't go nowhere. Hey guys, I got a question. Would you guys like to find something to help jazz up the watch that you already have without having to go out and purchase a new one? Well, come on over. I have a solution just for you. The KIISO collection. The KIISO collection is a watch band company that'll help you to dress up or dress down the watch that you already have just by changing the band. So come on over to Amazon.com/KIISO, that's KIISO, and allow us to give you what you need. Shop Amazon.com/KIISO. That's KIISO. Life is good with options. Let's get back to the show. So yes, you guys, please go and shop with our sponsor. But that is it. That is all. I thank you guys for joining me tonight. Come on back. And like I said again, thank you all for sharing my video to those content creators and those the subbies that are able to share the video. Y'all come back next week. And so I'm not going to avoid you guys of the intro/outro. Last week, y'all was like, where is the outro? Where's the music? So I'm going to play it for you guys. But as I always say, I love you guys with the love of God. And there is what? Nothing you can do about it. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Almond Delights Reading Corner. We back again for another read, y'all. Now you know TOPAZ done found a new life. So we here to see what he gonna do this time. This week, we'll start off reading Losing TOPAZ by our author, James Colwell. Chill out, sit back, relax. Let's see what we're going to be losing with TOPAZ. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We over here reading, y'all. Come on, sit down. Let's get into this book. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we're going to be back here every Monday for this good old read. Alright. Are you ready? Shh. Let's read.